Order blocks are the zones where the biggest money on earth actually buys, and this is the version nobody explains properly. Here is what I mean. You have probably drawn a few of these already. You found the last down candle, you marked the zone, you waited, price came back, and then sliced straight through it like the level was never there. So you decided order blocks do not work. They work. You were missing the filter. No higher time frame hunting, no sitting at the screen all day, no guessing. 4 rules, and if a block fails even one of them, you skip it. By the end, you will have all 4, including the 4th, the one almost nobody applies, which is the exact reason your zones keep breaking. And do not jump ahead to the entry. It will not make sense until you know why the zone exists in the first place. So let's start with what one actually is. An order block is the last opposing candle before a strong, decisive move in the other direction. In plain English, before price rockets upward, there is almost always one final down candle, one last moment of selling, right before the launch. That last down candle is a bullish order block, and before price collapses, there is one last up candle before the drop. That one is bearish. Picture it. Price is drifting sideways, quiet, nothing happening. Then a small red candle, and immediately after it, price explodes upward, big green candles one after another, running away from that spot. That last red candle is your order block. One thing before we go further. The free trading guide is linked in the description. Grab it and supercharge your strategy. Now, why does that one candle matter so much? Why does price come all the way back to it later? To understand that, you have to understand a problem that only enormous players have. When a bank or a fund wants to buy a truly enormous position, it cannot simply click buy. If it threw the whole order into the market at once, there would not be enough sellers sitting at that price to fill it. Worse, its own buying would drive price violently upward before it finished, wrecking its average price. So it cannot do that. It has to accumulate quietly, in one tight area, soaking up every seller it can find, before it finally lets price go. That quiet area of accumulation is the order block, and here is the detail that makes the whole thing work. Very often they cannot get the entire position filled before price takes off. Part of that order is left behind, unfilled, still sitting in that zone. So when price later drifts back down to the same area, those leftover orders are still there, waiting. The institution defends the zone, it buys again, and price bounces. That is why an order block behaves first like a magnet and then like a floor. It is not magic, it is unfilled institutional orders. Let me give you a picture, because it makes this click. Imagine you wanted to buy every house on one street. The moment the sellers realized what you were doing, prices would spike against you, and you would pay far more for the last few houses than for the first. So instead, you would buy them quietly, a few at a time, keeping the street calm until you had what you wanted. That is exactly what a fund does with a stock or a currency. The order block is that street, the quiet zone where they accumulated before price ran. And because they rarely finish buying before it takes off, they are more than happy to come back and buy again at the very same spot. Now, you might be thinking, isn't that just support? It is not, and the difference is the whole edge. Ordinary support is a level price has touched many times. An old, obvious floor everyone can see, which usually means it is weak by the time you find it, because it has already been tested to death. An order block is the opposite. It is a fresh zone, created by a single violent move that price has not returned to yet. You are not trading a worn-out level. You are trading a fresh footprint before the crowd arrives. And because it comes from one specific candle, it hands you a precise zone with a defined top and bottom, not a vague area. That precision is worth real money, because your entry and your stop can both be tight. A rough support line might be 5 points wide. A clean order block might be 1 point wide. Tighter zone, tighter risk, better reward for the risk you take. So, 4 rules. Rule 1, and it is the one people skip entirely, the block has to agree with the trend. In a market broadly moving up, bullish order blocks, the ones you buy from, are the high percentage plays because you are trading with the tide instead of against it. Bearish blocks in a rising market are fighting the current, and they fail far more often. So the very first question, before you go hunting for anything, is simple. Which way is this market trying to go? Find that answer first. Then only hunt for blocks that agree with it. Trend first, block second. Get that order right, and half your losing trades disappear before you ever take them. A perfect-looking bullish block that shows up while the bigger picture is falling apart is not an opportunity. It is a trap wearing a costume. Rule 2 is the big one. The move away from the block has to be violent. Traders call this displacement. After the order block candle, price should move away fast and decisively. Big, powerful candles, one after another, not a slow, weak drift. That violence is the proof that something real happened there. A lazy, limp move away tells you no institution was involved, and the zone means nothing at all. Displacement is the single most important filter, so burn it into your memory. No displacement, no order block. Here is the gut check that keeps you honest. If you find yourself zooming in, tilting your head, and trying to talk yourself into why some weak little candle counts as a block, it does not. The real ones are obvious. The move away is undeniable. You never have to argue with yourself about it. If you are arguing, the answer is no. The market pays you for patience here, not for effort, and boredom is not a signal to trade. Rule 3. The best order blocks break structure. That means the strong move away does not just wander around. It pushes clean through a recent high that had been holding price back. When price breaks a level it could not break before, right off the back of your zone, that tells you the character of the market just changed. Somebody with real size showed up and took that level out. And for a bearish block, you simply flip everything. Find the last up candle before a sharp drop, confirm the violent move down, confirm it broke a recent low, and mark that candle's range. Now you have a zone where big money was selling, a place price may return to before continuing lower. Same 3 rules mirrored. Marking it is the easy part. Take the high of that one candle and the low of that same candle. That range, top to bottom, is your zone. The whole zone matters, not one exact price inside it. Draw it, leave it, and walk away until price comes back to it. And notice what you have actually done here. You have not predicted anything. You have marked a spot where big money already proved it was active and where leftover orders may still be sitting. You are not guessing where price will turn out of thin air. You are reading a place where the institutions already showed their hand, in the candles, right there on your screen. That is a completely different way of looking at a chart than most people ever reach. Let me test you on it. 2 charts. On the first, a small down candle, and then price drifts up slowly over the next 20 candles and never takes out the previous high. On the second, a small down candle, and then 3 enormous green candles that blow clean through the recent high in minutes. Which one is the order block? Only the second. The first has no displacement and no structure break. It is just a candle with a story attached to it. That difference, and how quickly you can see it, is the entire skill. So you now have 3 of the 4 rules: trend, displacement, structure. Mark the high and the low, and that range is your zone. And here is the uncomfortable part. If you trade with only those 3, you will still get stopped out. Regularly. Because those 3 rules tell you the zone is real. They do not tell you whether the zone is worth trading. 2 blocks can pass all 3, and one of them is an A+ setup, while the other quietly bleeds your account. The difference between them is the 4th rule, the one almost nobody applies. That is where the actual money lives. And that is exactly where we are going next. Rule 4. And this is the one that separates the traders who say order blocks do not work from the ones quietly using them every day. The block has to be sitting at a discount, and the very best ones overlap an untraded gap. Let's take those one at a time, because both are simple once you see them. Discount first. Take the range the market is currently working in, the recent low up to the recent high, and split it in half. Everything below the halfway point is discount, cheap. Everything above it is premium, expensive. And the rule is exactly what your instinct says it should be. You buy in discount and you sell in premium, never the reverse. So a bullish order block sitting in the lower half of the range is a genuine opportunity. That same block sitting up in the top quarter, after price has already run, is you paying premium prices for a discount idea. It is the same zone, on the same chart, with completely different odds. Where the block sits inside the range matters as much as the block itself. Let me test you again, because this one catches almost everybody. 2 bullish order blocks. Same chart, same day. Both formed on violent displacement. Both broke structure. Both agree with the trend. The first sits near the bottom of the range, well below the halfway point. The second sits near the top, just under the recent high, after price has already run a long way. Which one do you take? The first, and only the first. The second block is textbook perfect in every way except the one that decides the outcome. You would be buying at a premium, right where the institutions who bought low are looking to sell to somebody. Very often that somebody is you. Same setup, opposite side of the trade. That is why position inside the range is a rule and not a preference. Now the second half of Rule 4, and this is the piece most people have never applied. That violent move away from your block left something behind. When price moves that fast, it skips prices. It travels so quickly in one direction that there was no genuine trading on the way through. Buyers and sellers never met properly in that stretch. Traders call it a fair value gap, an imbalance, or simply an inefficiency. And markets hate inefficiency. Price tends to come back and fill it. So look at where that gap sits. If the untraded gap overlaps the same little area as your order block, you now have two independent reasons for price to return to exactly that spot, and two independent reasons for it to turn once it gets there. Stack the discount on top of that, and you have three. That overlap is the A+ setup, order block, in discount, with a gap sitting on it. When you find all three in the same place, that is where you get aggressive. Everywhere else, you wait. So the full checklist, 4 quick questions, every single time. Is the trend on my side? Did this block form on real displacement? Did it break structure? And is it sitting at a discount? Ideally with a gap. 4 yeses, and you have permission to trade. Anything less, and you keep waiting. Now let's turn a zone on a chart into an actual trade, because a zone is worthless until you know exactly what to do when price arrives at it. Your entry is the return to the block. You do not chase price while it is running away from you. That is how people buy the top. You wait, patiently, for price to come back down into the zone you marked. When price taps into it, that is your entry area. You are buying where the institutions bought at a far better price than everyone who chased the initial move. And you can make that entry considerably safer with a little confirmation. Instead of blindly buying the instant price touches the zone, wait for a sign that buyers are actually stepping back in, a rejection wick off the zone, or a small shift back upward on a faster time frame. Touching the zone gets you ready. A reaction inside the zone pulls the trigger. That single distinction filters out an enormous number of losing entries. Next, your stop loss, the price that proves you wrong. It goes just below the low of the order block. Think about why that spot is so clean. The entire premise was that this zone is where big money is defending a position. If price slices straight down through the whole block and keeps going, then the defense has failed. They are not there, or they have given up. You want out immediately, with a small, defined loss. Your invalidation is not a number you picked out of the air. It is the exact price that proves the idea was wrong. Then, your target. You are aiming at the opposing liquidity, the prior high that price left behind when it first ran away from the block, or the next obvious level above it. That is where a fresh wave of orders is resting, and it is a natural place for price to travel to. Look at the shape that gives you. Your risk, from entry down to just under the block, is small and tightly defined. Your reward, from entry up to that prior high, is much larger. In a clean setup, you're often risking 1 to make 3 or more. And that ratio is everything, because it means this setup can be wrong plenty of times and still make money over a long run of trades. You do not need to be right most of the time. You need your winners to be bigger than your losers. And a good order block hands you exactly that shape. Let me walk one through exactly as it happens. Price has been pushing up all morning, then stalls and drifts back down. You scroll left, find the last down candle before that rally, and mark its high and its low. There is your block, and it sits in the lower half of the range, at a discount, with a gap from the initial move overlapping it. All 4 rules pass. You drop to a faster chart, and you wait. Price drifts into the zone. You do nothing yet. Then you see it, a candle pokes into the block, gets rejected, and closes back up with a long wick underneath it. That is buyers defending the zone. That is your trigger. You enter. Stop goes just under the block's low. Target goes at the prior high. Then you manage it, and nothing more. If price runs to target, you win several times your risk. If it slices through the block, you are out, for a small, known loss. Either way, you followed a plan built on where big money already showed up, not on a hunch. 2 practical notes before the mistake. First, once price has tapped your block and reacted, that block is spent. It did its job. The leftover orders are largely filled, and you should not keep returning to trade the same zone over and over. A block is good for 1 clean reaction, not 5. Trade it once, then let it go and hunt a fresh one. Second, the time frame you draw it on decides what kind of trade it is. A block on the 4-hour chart is a large, significant zone worth a slower, bigger trade, and it can take a day or more to get tapped. A block on the 1-minute chart is a fast scalp. Neither is better. But you must know which one you are holding, because if you are staring at a 4-hour zone expecting a 1-minute result, you will bail far too early. Now, the mistake that ruins order blocks for almost everybody: trading every single one they can find. Once you learn to see them, you see them everywhere, dozens on every chart. And the temptation is to trade all of them. Do not. The overwhelming majority are low quality, weak moves, against the trend, or sitting in a part of the range you should never be buying in. The whole skill is patience. You wait for the small handful that pass all 4 rules, and you ignore absolutely everything else. A beginner takes 20 order block trades a week. A professional takes 2, and they are the right 2. So what could this realistically do for you? Let's do the arithmetic rather than dream about it. Say you take 3 of these A+ setups in a week, you risk $200 on each, and you win roughly half of them at 3-to-1. That is $1,200 won against $400 lost. Around $800 a week, so somewhere near $3,000 a month. And it scales as your account and your consistency grow. Not a jackpot, not overnight, a repeatable edge applied with patience. And here is where we go next. Order blocks tell you where big money is active. But that gap we just talked about is a powerful signal all on its own, and it deserves its own video. So next time, breaking fair value gaps down completely, what makes one worth trading, and how to combine them with everything you just learned. I'll see you there.